Hey kids, in this video we are going to be talking about character and deepening that study just a little bit, looking at internal and external changes in the character. So we've been with dynamic and static, and now we're going to take how those elements bring us either inside to those changes or outside. All right, so what we're going to do in this video is just kind of identify what makes something internal, what makes something external in those characters, and practice a little bit with a new text that we haven't seen before so that we can go and dive back into our novels. And then remember, when you see that little icon, we've got some notes on our video notes to handle. All right, so internal and external changes, they kind of work like cause and effect. So it's not like you're going to have a list of these internal changes and then a list of these like external changes. So because something outside happens to you, something in society happens, we internalize that, and that would be that cause and effect. So let's say that a character loses their job. And so when that job is from an external, we internalize that. Are they going to be sad? Are they going to be quiet? Are they going to lie to their family? So we see this cause and effect relationship between the two, moving in back and forth interchangeably. But mostly, again, like anything else with characters, it's there to like advance the plot and sometimes develop that character. So what we're going to be looking at internally and externally is, are the characters internalizing? Are they keeping everything in? Are they causing more conflict by keeping secrets or not telling the truth or avoiding somebody? So what are all of those things, internal and external, doing for the character? Moving the plot. Okay. So what we want to kind of look at is just the purpose of internal conflicts here. We're just still identifying that. And so they can be psychological or they can be emotional. So a lot of those psychological changes you're going to see through the narrator, through the point of view, and how their mind is being described, what thoughts that they're having, how it's handling the psyche of who they are, and then those emotional changes. So if you recall, very, very, very early in the school year, we talked about the way that characters behave, the way that they think, and their emotions, and we're kind of deepening that one step further here with that psychological and emotional change. And then, again, an external change can lead to internal, and internal can lead to external. And then for that external change, these are going to be like very visible, like the way that a person carries their gait, like their walk, their face expressions, their clothes, their wealth. It's going to be things that we can completely identify, or when a character sees themselves, in a mirror, and we can see that external change. It's anybody on the outside can see that change. So I think those are kind of pretty straightforward. So we're going to look at chapter 9 of Zora Neale Hurston's Their Eyes Were Watching God. And this is a Florida writer. She's African American. And her main character, Janie, in this scene is describing her husband's funeral. And we're going to use this chart on your note catcher to help look at her internal and external changes, and then you're just going to use words and phrases from this passage to fill out that chart. So you're going to put me on pause, read through this, and then kind of transfer those ideas to your chart on your note catcher. All right, so let's see how you did. I know this one can be a bit tricky trying to understand the language and what's going on in there. So I just have like one little slide just to see if you're like on the right track before we do a couple just think questions. So internally, you see that Janie is behind her veil. So that very black, expensive barrier that she's talking about is her funeral veil. And so behind that veil, she's resurrected. She is coming to life. She's feeling something that she has not felt in a very long time. And then we see in that second paragraph that she's taken off all the rags, burned all of those rags, and just has this one thick braid that she has just kind of swinging. So you've got this very lively swinging and movement and resurrection and freedom. And then externally, you see her where, she starched and ironed her face. So you're going to see very right? It's starched, it's frozen, it's stiff, and she's ironing it. She's smoothing out any feeling she might be having on the inside, like that she's feeling resurrection in life. So you'll see her like this. And inside, she's very glorious. And that's an internal versus external look. So what you're going to do is just kind of find 4 things that you can deduce about Janie using your words and phrases. This is going to be great practice for our on-demand thinking, our on-demand writing. And so just not getting too much of a context and working through that yourself. And then once you've listed those 4, we're just going to look at how does this internal and external conflict advance the next stage of Janie's life. You don't know what's going to happen, but you have to be able to deduce that from the passages that you have there. This practice here for Their Eyes Were Watching God is going to help us as we move into our practice lessons, deepening our understanding of our current novels. And when you are done with these video notes and you can turn them in, you are done. And I will see you in the next video.